let's have the whole structure around three different sections of this particular conversation. Number one is going to be access, how you guys have the access to those particular VC deals. Number two is the kind of deals that they are going after. And three, the last one is going to be about them, where the money is moving. So Tony, the first question to you, which is, what is the latest deal you got in before it became too competitive? And I know it happens all the time.
My latest deal, actually I'm having a little bit of struggle with that question, by the way, because my Orioles didn't do too well with the Yankees this past weekend. So I've been ragdolled earlier this week by my stepmother, who's 75 years old. It's nothing like being ragged by a 75-year-old woman. You guys missed a joke. My jokes do get better as we go along, so that was probably a challenging moment, but I'm very excited about our team. We've got great possibilities to end the year, so very fortunate, thankful to be an investor with the Baltimore Orioles. So thank you for the first question.
Thank you.
I thought we would get a little bit more laughter about the 75-year-old woman, though. I told you we gotta liven it up a little bit. So.
She's right, though.
What's that?
She's right, though. Going against the Yankees is not a simple thing. You held your own.
Sure. So, Kevin, the same question. I'm going to ask this particular question to the whole panel to understand that how you guys got into those particular deals before it became very competitive. Tom was the person that I spoke to him, and he was very passionate about it. So starting with yourself, sir.
I'm very upset because you guys took away Alonso from the Mets, okay? And I just want to
He's been a great asset.
I want to get it off my chest. I got to say that, okay? We deal with only patented technologies. Okay? You know, people say, "Are you in real estate development?" We say, "Yeah, intellectual real estate development." So our latest deal, the inventor of the cloud, came to us. He's got a new geolocation technology, and our job is to bring it not only to the commercial world, but frankly to the military world, because defense, as you know, is really, really active. So we have a whole cadre, probably about 7 or 8 different technologies, all of which are patented. And our job is to bring it around the world. We've done business in 80 countries, and we almost always take the Latin American rights and the Middle East rights for whatever technology we're involved in. But the inventor came to us and said, you're the man to bring it because you understand our patents. And you got to understand patents to be able to develop them. So we monetize patents.
Thank you. Joe.
Good morning, everyone. So our sector is real estate. We're laser focused, and that's what we do. That's what I did for over 30 years. And so we're moving between cycles. And I think to answer your question, which is which deals we started doing, maybe a little bit before a lot of others, we came back to the market after a 2-year break between middle of 2022 and 2024. The market stopped, interest rate went crazy high, right? Inflation was hovering around 9%. A lot of operations have stopped. Banks sort of like scaled back significantly from lending, and that's exactly the market where we found the best opportunities. That's the market where I think we do our best work. And so we started funding projects in various parts throughout the United States. We have around just shy of 5 million square feet in major markets in the United States. And we entered capital by essentially creating preferred equity. We were able to almost exclusively play in this field. There was market starved for capital, market starved for structured debt. So our returns were significantly higher than what we're seeing today, where there's a lot more players in the field. If in middle of 2024, when the market was sort of like looking for capital, we were playing at around 20+% IRRs. Today, I have to say that, with so many players, so much capital bringing in, it's sort of like, low teens. So we came first, one of the first, I would say. We had very little competition. We enjoyed the benefits.
Thank you. Isabel and Jerry.
Thank you so much. Is this on? Can you hear me okay?
No, it's not on. The little button.
Oh. Thank you so much. So I would say one of the companies that we're invested in that is very hard to get into right now is a company out of New York. They're doing remittances, and we knew early on that we wanted to get into remittances. It's an industry that we've been bullish on. So we did a couple of investments, 5 or 6 or so, But we always get in at a very low valuation in the beginning, just north of $1 million valuation. This company is now somewhere $500 million valuation, and we have multiple of the top VCs trying to call us and get their foot in the door. So credit out of New York is the one I would bring up.
That's the place you wanted to be, right? Right in the early stages. Jerry, to you, please.
It's a pleasure to be here. A little bit about what we do. So we started out as a single-family office. 10 years ago, we've kind of transformed into a alternative investment firm. We've deployed close to about $1 billion in originations and credit. And so for us, we have a little bit of a different approach in how we look at venture. We actually launch venture studios, and so we're not only looking for deals, we're looking for people, right? And so that's kind of our approach. We look to develop people, and that's very important to what we do. And then from there, we kind of can generate ideas internally and help them grow. So internally, we really look across a diversified portfolio. We have sports, we look at technology, we look at AI. So it's really finding people who are very passionate about what they do and can bring added value. And so that's how we generate ideas, is really identifying people and then growing from there.
So any deal that you got in before it became competitive?
So for us, we generate our own. So
Okay.
we have a very different approach. We really generate our own. I would say right now what we're focusing on is actually scaling community banks. And so we've developed some technology in order to scale community banks. We all know that the lending process is extremely slow. And so we've developed the right people and the right technology to scale those community banks.
Thank you. Anmol.
Hey everyone, Anmol here. So background-wise, I was an exited founder, so always sort of try and go into these deals with a founder-first approach rather than a capital-first approach. Ended up exiting, scaling a fund, rolling it up into a family office, and now we're a family office of 3 families. But when it comes to access, I think a massive part of that is relationship-driven, right? How good is your relationship with the ecosystem, with the operators, with the regulators, with the co-investors, with the guys who buy out PEs to other corporates as well. So over the last 3 to 4 years, we've put in a lot of effort in building that out, and then genuinely, truly nurturing relationships. So I can give you 2 quick examples of deals we've invested in over the last few months. One was called Sprouts AI, which was being led by Axel, so one of the largest funds in the world. So Axel came in at 45 million. I came in at 35 million. That was because in the same round, that was because the relationship that I had with the founders was way better, right? I spoke to them and asked, what do you need outside of capital, right? I can't write a 10 million check that Axel can, or a 5 million check, right, that Axel will write straight away. So what do you need outside of that? And then the founder said, well, I need help with my commercialization. I need help with tech development. I need help with visibility. I need help. I was like, that I can do, right? I can put you on the stages, I can connect you to development teams, I can connect you to operators which will be interested in buying your products, right? And ended up coming $10 million valuation under Axel. And Axel's operator, Karan, actually reached out to me. He's like, who the hell is this 25-year-old which beat me, in my round and getting under it? And then another one is similar, which was Commerce, which we came in at $15 million, brought in one of the Indian billionaires called Siddharth, and grew it to 269 million in a year, right?
Wow.
Again, big thing about access. What did you need? What were you lacking outside of capital? Well, you needed someone who's been in the industry. We knew the operator, brought them in and scaled. So relationship, which takes time to develop, and really truly getting to know the founders and what they need outside of capital.
Thank you. Over to you, please.
So I'm Jeffrey Stein, and I run Burnwater Ventures, which is a deep tech clean energy venture firm based in Silicon Valley. So my access is based upon a 20-year career as a venture-backed founder of 3 AI companies. We were backed by Sequoia Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, and many other top VCs. And now I've gone over to the other side with my first venture firm. And so it's built on that career. And similarly, key to us is investing not just financial capital, but also human capital. So I have a team of some of the world's top executive coaches. Having been a founder, you have to grow yourself faster than you're growing your company in order to survive. There's a big personal growth journey, particularly for first-time founders. So we support them on that with incredible mentors and advisors, and then one-on-one executive coaches. And then also similarly, we have a commercial deployment platform. So we're doing partnerships, strategic partnerships. First one has been in Africa and the Gulf to translate these technologies, deploy them into greenfield market opportunities, which is highly valued by founders. So we're getting in on some incredible deals. One example is company Casimir, former head of propulsion research at NASA, who has invented a self-powering, a quantum energy-powered microchip. So these have no external fuel source. They are drawing power from the natural environment and run perpetually. These are chips that are actually working today and are at this point suited for Internet of Things sensors. But the future, within about 2 or 3 years of their development cycle, they expect to be able to power phones continuously. You'll never need to charge your phone again. So this is actually quite a revolutionary technology starting to come to market. And we got in alongside Gwynne Shotwell, the president of SpaceX, Tim Draper, one of the most legendary VCs, Andreessen Horowitz. Again, relationships, relationship networks. So the way to get in as family office is partner with folks like us. We do co-investments. There's opportunities to invest in the fund. It's all about partnerships and relationships.
Thank you. Now, once having an access is one thing, making a real decision and sticking to that decision is another very important part of the VC lifestyle, and of course the family office. So this brings us to the section 2, and that is, what made you walk away from a deal that later succeeded?
We've walked away from a lot of deals, so it's difficult to categorize it, but I will tell you, sometimes we encounter that egotistical, I know it all entrepreneur, and we cannot deal with that person at all. We say to them, look, we're seasoned and reasoned. We're a little older, my son, my family, etc. We've done this a lot. 7 of our companies that we co-founded have become category or world leaders. So we've done this a lot, and we do know a little bit about the prototype of people that are successful. And frankly, having real knowledge of your category is essential to us, but not necessarily knowing it all, because none of us know it all. So we say to them, if you listen to us, we're going to have a meeting once a week in the beginning, and then we sort of lay off after about 3 months if we're satisfied that the entrepreneur group does not need our input all the time. We ask you to listen to us. We don't ask you necessarily to implement what we tell you, because sometimes you know better. Maybe you're much more creative or knowledgeable about your catch the current, make the wave. You're more knowledgeable about your current. But you got to listen to us at least and show us that you're at least listening and perhaps implementing. And last point is, we don't deal with politicians at all. We've been through it all in Africa, in Asia, in all over the world. We deal with family offices. Politicians come and go, and family offices stick around. So of the 80 countries that we have done business with, I could probably name you at least 1 or 2 families in at least 40 of them that we only deal with, and we go through their door. Even if they're not in that business, we go through their door. So it's personality as much as anything else. And one last thing, I'm sorry. If we find out more about your technology in the 2 to 3 to 5 weeks that we do due diligence than you know about your technology, X marks the spot. If we know more about it than you do, you're in trouble, as far as we're concerned. One more point. If you don't know your numbers, forget it. Got to know your numbers. I love a CEO who says to me, ask my CFO. No way. You got to know it, pattern recognition. You got to know your numbers, and you got to know them on a constant basis.
Thank you. Same.
Wonderful. Kevin touched on a lot of the points. I totally agree with you. Character is what's going to make or break a deal. But ultimately, to answer the questions in regards to what deals we walked away from, there's deals I keep on walking away from, and I know it's going to be contrarian. I know a lot of you love data centers in the space of real estate. I don't. I don't feel comfortable with them. I think that this is a very binary risk. Essentially, it's a complex that's getting built for one particular reason. There is no almost turnaround from it. I don't think anybody knows enough about data centers, and quite frankly, with the way technology is moving so fast, every 6 months, things that today is obsolete, tomorrow, how do you invest so much capital into it? Now, I get the concept, but we keep on saying no to data centers. Just like we kept on saying no to office, which really, saved our portfolio tremendously during the crash of the office, mainly in the United States, for those who are local. So those are the deals we keep on saying no to. So we'll keep on sticking to what we know, which is lots of multifamily, lots of rentals, condos in the right location, some hospitality, we say a lot of yes to. And within them, we look at around 600-700 transactions that we as a company ask to participate by various developers to invest in. Look, 98% of the deals we say no to. And a lot of it has to do with what Kevin just said. There's the concept of the 3 C's, which is the collateral, the real estate, right? The credit, how successful the deal is going to be financially, but the C that's overlooked is the character. And most real estate issues are not market related. They have a first name and a last name issue. And, a big ego, somebody who always knows it all, and somebody who will take a lot of risk, we stay away from.
What kills a deal for you? Or the same?
Thank you. And Kevin, you nailed it, Joe. I agree 100%, but Kevin, you were spot on. And for me, it has to come down to that relationship with the founders. I get a gut feeling, and sometimes I get so excited about the opportunity. I look past sometimes the founders, and I have to click with the founder and those that are invested. And we're a faith-based organization, and we pride ourselves on that. I always speak to my organizations. We're God first. We're heavily involved in insurance. And right now, regulatory AI and agentic AI, and I get pitch deals, probably 30, 40 of them a week. And for me, I have to have a good vibe with the founder and the owner. I was in Vegas just launching one of our new companies, Live.More. It's a Medicare AI, and really excited. We had a 5,000 member audience, and one of the gentlemen who actually has an opportunity, his foot's already in the door with one of my other companies, Integrity.com, which I'm managing partner of, and he blew the deal. He blew the deal in 2 minutes. And it was because the vibe wasn't right. He was very, as you said, Kevin, very cocky, very arrogant. He didn't know his numbers. His numbers were exaggerated. And I'm like, there's no way you're doing that. And there's no way your product can do that. And pretty much it was a product design. We're big in the annuity space. We're the #1 distribution partner with, you name the carrier, United, Aetna, WellCare, Transamerica, Northwestern. We're #1 in every sector, whether it's Medicare, health insurance, life insurance, annuities. And this guy created this product that was going to revolutionize annuity sales. And the numbers he was throwing out to me were outrageous. There's no way, the exaggeration. And then I even prodded some of our other partners. I'm like, this guy, and not one person could share anything good about the founder and the innovator. They loved the product, but they didn't feel comfortable with him. And we backed off the deal, and it probably cost him up front about $25 million that we were willing to invest into his company. So I just want to share that with you. I agree with you, Kevin and Joe, but that was one of my most recent experience when I was in Vegas last week for Medicare, so I wanted to share
So
that.
it's mostly about the own internal culture and your own risk profile. You are not too worried about if it is going to become very competitive or if it is going to be too successful. Now I'm going to move on to Isabel with that one. Let's say that I'll give you 100 million as of today, and then I say, go invest that money from a family office. Which particular sectors, stages, and geography would you go for?
For today, so Expert Dojo is the venture arm of a billion-dollar family office out of California. This family made all of their money in real estate to begin with, and then 5 years ago they decided they wanted to branch out and diversify into venture investments, and that's when we built out Expert Dojo, which now has a very, very strong brand on the growth side of things. But when we launched Expert Dojo, we brought in the real estate mindset into venture, which means always investing at the best price. So if you can't get the best price, we wouldn't do the deal. So compared to what we were talking about earlier, we cannot be flexible with our deals. So if we were to walk away from a deal, it's normally that was just typically not a fit at that point. Either companies were too far along or wouldn't accept our terms. But to say we've done 266 investments in 5 years, we had, I think it was 2023, we averaged 2 early stage investments weekly. So I would still say that how we're dividing those 100 million, again, we always love to buy our seat at the table early on, do a lot of smaller investments, then save some for follow-on investments. We love warrants. We even brought warrants into the venture stage where we can execute and get 10% of each company that we want to. But we will do a $1 million check, get 10% extra of the company while they are already racing at a $150 million valuation. So that's kind of how we, in another way, also brought in the real estate and the public side to venture. So always being really playful with the way that you're structuring your deals. And now lately, we are also focusing on a lot of private equity deals, but from within the portfolio where we can write a larger check. But we've been working with these companies for a long time, and we'll get our hands really dirty and work with them.
Thank you. Jerry, I'm going to reduce the amount from 100 million to 50 million to you. Sector, geography, stages, please.
I'll be really quick. I always believe invest in your own infrastructure. I think you have to own your own rails. So I would build I'd figure out how to build my own venture, how to build my own private equity company, right? And then bring in the right people to own that infrastructure. So I'm huge on that. And for me, I would also look at women's sports. I play professional basketball. My sister plays professional basketball. I've seen it. So women's sports, and again, how do you build that infrastructure around women's sports is something that I think is really intriguing right now.
Okay, going to reduce it down to 1 million for you. How would you do it? Same sector, stages, and geography.
I think at that point it becomes what is your value add outside of capital, right? If the million is the only thing you're playing with, don't look at it from a capital perspective, look at it from a background perspective, right? So our background is one, my parents' background healthcare, my background tech, so it's the convergence of both, right? So thinking of how, even though the capital there is million, how can we have an impact of 10 million, right? So that's leveraging our network. So I would put it into that, and just adding on in conjunction with what's happening with AI, healthcare is one of the largest industries, which is yet to be completely disrupted by it, right? It's a $17 trillion market. And even when you go into hospital, I'm British, anyone who knows the NHS here, very, very huge institution in the UK, but very, very slow moving. So being able to be part of technology where we can disrupt that, but not just with capital, but also with access, with regulatory approval, with commercial viability, with co-invest, with boosting up technological rails, and stuff like that. So that's probably how I would do it.
Okay, Jerry, for you, the question is, where is the biggest mispriced valuation right now in all of the sectors? The most mispriced sector?
Mispriced sector? That's a good question. It's obviously not AI. It's the opposite. Or it's mispriced in terms of...
Let's say even opportunity, mispriced opportunity, which no one is looking at it.
Well, I'm focused on energy. And the world needs energy.
Yes, for sure.
And the great thing in the energy sector is you have very low market risk. So usually you have product execution risk, technical risk, founder risk, market risk. In energy, there's insatiable demand for energy, and so we trade off for technical risk. We have a very strong technical advisory council and on our team, and then we cultivate the founders, because a lot of that technical risk is actually human risk and human relation and leadership skills, interpersonal relating skills. And so we can take something that might look technically risky, really dig in and find, oh, actually, this is very viable. And there's a clear pathway, particularly with our networks, that we enable the founders to go to market and build incredible winners. You know, we only invest in companies that have very clear paths to billion-dollar valuations and beyond. Energy is a great space for a lot of those because we're
Yeah.
rebuilding the world's infrastructure.
Now, as we're coming towards the end of the sector, I'm just going to have a 2 rapid fire among these particular individuals. So, starting with you, one sector you are bullish on, quick, no time to think.
What?
One sector you are bullish on.
You know, it may sound terrible, but it's military. My buddies in Europe, they got a bull.
Your mic.
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Right now, military is hotter than hell in Europe and Latin America, and they're investing. I don't like military in general, but it's hot.
Okay, for you, one
Defense,
sector.
defense.
Okay, one sector you are avoiding.
I think I touched it. I still stay away from data centers for the reasons that I mentioned before.
Okay, I think we are completely running. Okay, the last one. One mistake family offices keep making in VC space. Tom and Isabel, please. Both of you. Tony.
The mistake?
One mistake family offices keep making in the VC space.
Not trusting their gut. Trust your gut.
Okay.
Don't trust anyone. That's my number one. I also
Except your gut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can trust yourself.
Trust your gut.
I know we need to wrap up, but I just want to also mention, if you've been to these conferences in the past couple of months, you've probably seen Brian McMahon on stage, who's my business partner, and he's been letting you know that we have this investor club that we're doing together with Anthony, and I'm going to be in the back room later on today. You can find me over there if you're interested in learning more about the investor club and all the access that you'll get from that.
Thank you. It has been a plum pleasure to host you today. And as the mayor said earlier, that yes, there are resemblances. As a resident of the UAE, I do see so many resemblances, such as the Bentley building coming in. Only 2 days ago, I was walking along this road, and then I went to St. Regis. I said, wow, this actually does feel like I am in Dubai, the way that the skyline is developing. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for the fellow panelists.